On this episode of Hudson Valley Hustle, I'm joined by Kerry Scardino, owner of Skinchanted Spa in Peekskill. I had a lot of fun in this episode. We talked about everything in the world of aesthetics and skincare. I definitely learned a few things myself. I'm sure you will too. Enjoy the interview.
You think you know every business in a square radius, right? Or square miles, whatever. And then it's like, you've been here for 7 years. So I love doing these outdoor markets now. I've never had the time because I've always been a technician. But now I'm like trying to be the face of the business because we've also got the CBD line. So I'm trying to get out there. And when I meet the community, they're like, oh, when did you open? I'm like, 2012. They're like, what?
Yeah.
What? And you're in Peekskill? I'm like, yeah, we've been around. I advertise. We do, other things. I'm in the Chamber of Commerce. But it seems like a lot of people just don't, can't always know you. And it's nice to get out there.
I used to work at Poughkeepsie, and I did a lot of business like right on Route 9, right? Main drag. Tons of businesses,
nice.
Tons of traffic, right? But people would say, like companies would say, we're on Route 9, and people still come in and say, I didn't even know you were here.
Right.
And it's like, because you have to tell people you're there. Like you can't just assume that people are going to know that you exist.
Yep.
You still have to reach out and like do outbound,
Yep. And for us, we are now located, we moved 7 years ago. I bought a commercial condo, which is awesome, but also that means that we have to maintain the building, which is like a little tricky at times, but our building is in a condo complex.
Oh, nice.
So it feels so weird. So even the first time that I went to go see it, my mom was my realtor, and we're turning, and I'm on the phone with her, I'm Mom, this is wrong, and she's like, keep turning your wheel, like, this is right. So you go into a condo community, and there's a professional building in there.
Nice.
So weird, but it's very
so you
cozy.
Bought that?
Yeah, so
That's
I bought
great.
that 7 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are there other retail spaces and businesses
there
in there? Oh,
yeah. So it's a bunch of commercial condos,
Nice.
and then we all kind of pull together just like a condo community would, but like we all have businesses. It's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we tried to build and help each other as well. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I read on your bio on your website that waxing is your passion.
It is.
Is it true?
So do you know that I got into being an esthetician? I mean, for many reasons, but one of the main reasons, I'm 15 years old, and guys and girlfriends would come over, lay their heads on my lap, on my bed, and I would do their eyebrows. It was just always a thing I was into. And then when I got old enough to like buy the wax that, kind of crummy from like the beauty supply store or whatever, I started waxing at home. So when I went to aesthetic school many years later, this was a second career, they were like, who wants to model? Who feels comfortable? Nobody raised their hand. I'm like, I will. I love waxing. And I think it's because I'm a Virgo. I get so much satisfaction out of making something clean, that maybe was untidy. It's like instant gratification. I love it.
Interesting.
I know. It's like my guru-ness is for brows and Brazilians, and I do manzillions as well. And it's like, who would have thought I get so much joy out of waxing intimate areas? But then it's the conversations, it's the people. We just have such great people in Peekskill.
Yeah. I can understand like the transformation aspect of things, right? Because like,
yes.
Who doesn't love a good satisfying video of like something getting power washed or like something getting painted?
Like those lawns being mowed? Exactly.
Absolutely. Those are not the strips that you deal with.
Exactly right? Yep.
But that's
and
really
as a waxer, it's actually harder to leave something. When somebody wants to leave something down there, you have to, okay, now I'm looking like with a ruler, doing my measuring kind of thing, making sure that everything is tidy. And I always think, what would it look like to somebody else visiting the area? I want everything spick and span.
All right, let's go down this rabbit hole
go.
because now we're
Let's
here.
go.
Now we're here and we're going to talk about it. So is it like still pretty common?
Yeah. Brazilians and manzillions, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that Brazilians, for women, it's time reducing, anybody, right? Time reducing makes it nice and tidy. There's a different sensation too. I say even with sex, like when a guy comes in for the first time, and a female as well, I'll always tell them, if you don't like the booty part, do it once. You never have to do it again. But that first shower that you take, when you're soaping up your butt, it is the cleanest, best feeling. And you're like, ooh, this was worth it. And then, people are usually hooked. So I've only had like a handful of people not want to do it like the second time.
Interesting.
Most people are like just bashful about it, but
Sure.
we're so professional, and, cleanliness, of course, is like top notch. But I talk, we're storytellers at Skinchanted, and I just try to like get people's mind off of it. And most of the comments that I've received in the last 12 years are, oh my God, I felt like that was like nothing, that went so quickly. Just getting into the vibes, but I'm doing my thing. And we take deep breaths, blow out like you're blowing out a birthday candle for the really bad parts. You kind of grit down. And because of my experience, I know which parts are really going to be bad. But It's funny, sensory wise, so many people are different. Something that you would never think. I have one client who she doesn't like the sensation of the wax being put on her with a stick. It's like icky to her. Oh. But the pain of removal, no problem.
Interesting.
It's wild. You just meet so many people.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's wild. So a lot of guys coming into this too?
Yeah. So we have guys, same reasons. Same reason that a woman would want a Brazilian. A man wants the cleanliness, the low maintenance, the sex kind of feels different. Everything is nice and smooth. And also, if somebody has folliculitis, which is like ingrown hairs, very common, right? Like if you're shaving and you get that razor burn and everything, it's just easier to get done professionally, nice and smooth, and you're taking it from the root. So it lasts a month versus a week.
I was going to ask you, how long does something like that last?
So usually, everyone's hair growth is different, and we have actually 3 stages of hair growth. So I would say like between 4 and 5 weeks is usually what we have. But I have people that have come so consistently over the years, my 12 years, that they now only have to come every 8 weeks because their hair has slowed down in growth so much that now it's just like, there's like 5 hairs, but they're really long. Right? So we always say the tip of a Q-tip are like your pinky nail size. Okay. That's the optimal length. So if it's like freshly shaved, we're like, come back in a few days.
Gotcha.
We can't do that. And then we, use a really nice, it's called a racing lotion, nice and smooth afterwards, an antiseptic that's like cooling menthol. So it's like ice cubes down there. But yeah, it is a gender neutral thing for someone just to want to be cleaned up and not have ingrown hairs or razor burn.
I'll tell you what, I think this is the first time we've heard somebody talking about cleaning up down there.
So
on the show.
I'll blow your mind even more. I did my own Brazilians until I was 5 months pregnant. So for like 14 years, waxing myself, just figuring it out, right? And when we're at Skinchanted training, I usually have the girls wax me. I'm always the guinea pig, right? So that's a little awkward too. You got to wax your boss. And I always say, if you're not comfortable, like New York State law, right? I can't make you do this. But this is the way we learn in aesthetic school. So when we're in school, the upperclassmen have to wax the lowerclassmen.
Gotcha.
So my first bikini wax was 2 hours, and I was purple later. So
yikes!
I'm
somebody's got to wax somebody, right?
Exactly. You have to learn. And actually, we can't do it Brazilians in school. So it's usually like your first gig, and it's like, okay, let's.
Gotcha.
So my first gig was a friend. I did her on a bed, a queen size bed, too low. She was such a good sport, but like it was a nightmare. Much better in a spa atmosphere.
I'm sure that you've gotten much better.
I have.
Like in the 12 years that you've been in business. Is it like that scene in The 40-Year-Old Virgin?
It's
where like, that's immediately what I think about.
It is not Kelly Clarkson. It is not that bad. Like I said, we take deep breaths for the really bad parts. Okay. We do smaller strips for the bad parts. I pride myself on we're not a factory. We're not a spa that gets them in, get them out, get them in, get them out. Like we give you so much time. One of my newest employees is actually a senior waxer at like a European wax center. Nice. So she is like speed, and I have to tell her like, slow down a little. Like, no, this is not Helga's House of Pain, right? Like we can just let them have their deep breaths, but usually a Brazilian is anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes, and for my guys, I give them a little bit extra. Okay. But the raciest guy story that I have was I walk in and he's completely nude, hands behind his back, and I'm thinking, oh, buddy, this is not what you think it's going to be. And, we're taking deep breaths, and he's holding on to me with all his might, like keeps moving and kind of jerking it into me because his knee is going up. It's not pleasurable, but it is satisfying to then not have to worry about it for a whole month.
Nice. It's got to be interesting. So how many people are on your team?
Right now, so with myself, 4. Okay, so we've got 4 estheticians. We work 7 days a week. We have late nights till 8 o'clock at night, and we're open weekends.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, what were you doing before you had the spa?
So before, I actually worked for Estee Lauder corporately. So I have a bachelor's in communications, public relations. So I worked as a temp for Estee Lauder. So I got to feel around for this company. I mean, it's so mega. They own 40 other companies. But what I realized is a lot of their stuff has fragrance and alcohols and dyes and things that were just like reactive to my skin.
Okay.
And I kept thinking, oh, if it's like fancy and organic and expensive, it's going to be like not great. You know, like I thought like this is, I don't know, the things from France even, they're so perfumed and they smell so good and they're so luxurious, but they made my skin break out like crazy.
Gotcha.
So I did international special events for MAC Cosmetics, and I did, I was the sales administrator for the whole Northeast for Aveda. Sure. So I've had backgrounds in both, and at the end of the day, I was like, I don't belong behind a desk. I need to work with my hands. I'm antsy and itching. So now I get the best of both worlds. I get to do boss behind the desk and then also my technician stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you are doing both. So you are still, even though you have a team, you're still getting in there.
I am. So up until recently, I was the only person that did manzillions. So my guys still came to me. But the things like facials, waxing, and body treatments that my estheticians can do, we train so thoroughly. They are so talented. I'm like, you guys are in good hands.
That's good.
Yeah. Trying to focus on the business growth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So how's that transition been? So going from like the technician to the business owner.
Well, you know, I have to say the cop-out was having a baby. I felt like I could never leave because I was so dedicated to my clients and I just love what I do so much. But after a while, my body was tired of it, right? I have 2 bad hips. I got into a car accident in my 20s. So like I've had hip surgeries. I've got back issues. Like it's just a lot leaning over people constantly. And I thought I can get people in here and we could just lighten the load a little bit and then I can focus on the business. But having the baby as the catalyst of being like, sorry guys, can't do it anymore, too pregnant. Like trying to do a Brazilian with an 8-month pregnant belly, you're just all up on people. You know, sorry, I cannot control my body parts right now. So it was a good transition. And now that I'm back only a little bit like per diem for doing specialty people, we're also oncology estheticians at Skinchanted. So if there is a cancer patient that's like a really special, unique situation, I will certainly go in. I can consult, but I can also just do the services. As a matter of fact, today I have 2 manzillions and 1 facial for like a long time standing client, which is really fun.
So what is an oncologist?
So an oncology certified esthetician.
How does that work?
So basically I tell people it's more of like what we don't do. So what not to do, right? We don't want to harm someone that's going through treatment. So if they have a port, if they have a PICC line, if they're actively going through chemo, if they had radiation. So it can be pre-treatment, meaning like we're prepping their skin for what's about to come because chemo is very harsh. It's very drying. And then if they've had radiation, I have one client in particular that she is like the head of a lot of foundations in the oncology world. And she unfortunately had cancer herself. She goes to her doctors and says, I have this thing, you know, on my neck. I don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. Tell her to put Aquaphor on it. Meanwhile, she comes to me and I said, how long have you had radiation recall? And she's like, what? And I'm like, that sunburn, that's called radiation recall. It's any time in your life once you've had radiation, your skin can flare and it's very sensitive and it looks like a sunburn. It can be hot to the touch. It can also be painful, very dry. So she's like, nobody has ever even told me. And I said, well, I'm not, as an esthetician, I'm not allowed to diagnose, but I can tell you as an oncology esthetician, I know what I'm looking at. So I gave her better stuff than Aquaphor, right? I guided her. We use an all natural product that, you know, is really medical and made for actually going through treatments. And then we've got our CBD as well. Do you know that after using it for like a month, she's like, I can turn my neck. For the first time. She had lymph nodes removed, a lot of trauma in that area. And she said, I haven't been able to turn my head. She can't drive, right? And now quality of life. So I think just the fulfillment of being able to help people on this journey. And then like, we don't wear the white coats, right? No white coat syndrome with us. So you can come and get touched. I've heard a lot of feedback from my oncology patients or I should say clients. They don't really feel safe to like touch people. If you're going through chemo, it can be skin to skin transferable. So being with an oncology trained esthetician, we know where the safe zones are. We know what medications are what. We know, you know, your challenges and we would never compromise someone's body. A fun fact, nobody really knows, and I don't think enough oncologists talk about, if you have had 1 lymph node removed, you cannot go downwards in that area. So say I had a lumpectomy, easy peasy, right? Like they don't consider that like a really big deal in cancer. You've got the piece, it was taken out, no problem. If they have taken one axillary node under the underarm, you can no longer go down in massage movements and soaping yourself, anything down on that arm, because it can create lymphedema. Not a lot of people know that. So when I see them, one of the first things that we ask in the intake form is, have you ever had a lymph node removed? And they say, oh yeah, they took 3 sentinel nodes, which is just like mapping, making sure that everything's okay. Well, now that arm is compromised. So tell any massage therapist, even if it's at a nail salon, you're getting a massage or whatever, they cannot go down in that arm because they can create lymphedema, which is incredibly painful and very hard to reverse.
So just, you can't rub in that direction, basically?
It's not advised. So when we're doing our arm and hand massage, up towards the heart, we're pushing the lymph, we're pushing the blood flow, everything goes to the heart so it doesn't pool at the bottom. I had to be wrapped when I was in oncology training, and being wrapped as in if you had lymphedema, which is just an extreme pooling of the fluid in your body. Lymph is like watery substance. They wrapped each finger, they wrapped my arm. It felt like 1,000 pounds and it was tight and painful. I can't imagine my skin being so swollen and having that done. Like, it's just not worth. So I educate. That's like really,
no, that's good. It sounds like you know your stuff.
I do.
On that.
I'm really passionate about it, and when I get going, that's my secret passion. I don't know. I just really like skincare in general. Yeah.
Do you guys do massage as well?
So we're not massage therapists. We're estheticians. So it's a different license in New York State, but we're allowed to do some stuff. We do an arm and hand massage, a décolleté massage, which is a fancy French word for your chest.
Interesting. What does that involve?
So we do a scrub on the chest, but with my oncology patients, if they have a port, no scrub. We don't go anywhere near it. So for the regular clients, we do a scrub on the décolleté. We do like the massage movements. We use an organic massage cream that's got aloe vera and like really great stuff. So if you have had sun damage, it can kind of buff away that dead skin and like damaged stuff. So any kind of exfoliating is actually good as an anti-cancer prevention. We just are really, really mindful to put sunscreen on, because then you're freshly exfoliated and you have like baby skin.
Oh, gotcha.
But as like, we have some people that had like prone to skin cancer. They're using like chemo cream every 3 weeks kind of thing, because they keep popping up, and it's easier than going to get Mohs surgery all the time. And these people come to get regular facials because sloughing off that dead, damaged skin is where that stuff will become like atypical.
Gotcha.
So if you're constantly bringing up baby skin, it's like very good.
Interesting. So you want baby skin?
Yes, always. And you want to put sunscreen on that baby skin, as I do with my daughter as well. I'm like, come over here.
That's
you.
That's good advice. All right, what are your thoughts on loofahs? I'm totally out of left field. Loofahs, are they good or bad?
I think they're okay. They're, as an esthetician, there's better things, right? We like scrubs. We like a chemical kind of reaction. We have a natural fruit acid exfoliant. So something that breaks down the dead skin is always a good idea. I'm okay with a washcloth. I'm okay with a loofah. But
you see these studies like never use a loofah.
Well,
it's like, sometimes coffee will kill you. Sometimes it's great for you, right? So like, which really?
I think that the path of least resistance of just exfoliating is the right thing. So if you love a loofah and that's what you do, just make sure you're not over exfoliating, right? So our cell turnover is every 7 to 14 days. So we don't need to loofah every single day as hard as we can.
Okay.
So if it's a real loofah, not one of those like plasticky loofahs, that's more of like a washcloth, I would say.
Gotcha.
If it's not like an abrasive, if you're using something that's almost like got a pumice consistency, if you're doing that every day, you're going to be pretty raw and definitely need to moisturize.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So then you have alligator skin after. you have to keep that hydrated.
Okay. So loofahs, not bad, just not every day.
Not my favorite, but certainly not the devil.
Okay. No, that's good. No, that's good to know, because I was curious. I know it stays in the shower. It can grow bacteria and all this other kind of crap and all that good stuff. And we don't want
I think that if you turn it over every once in a while, and like, hey, you're putting soap on it, right? So like, how dirty can it be?
Yeah, gotcha. So really, like anything skin, right? Like that's your
my
area of
passion.
expertise.
Yeah.
That's where you live.
Yeah, we do makeup. Like I was a makeup artist for a long time doing weddings too. So it's also about like prepping the skin before you're doing something like makeup on a bride, right? So we do like facials on people. I've done grooms as well. This is also a gender neutral. I always say skin is gender neutral.
Yep.
So my newest, latest hopeful passion venture that I'll be going on is maybe teaching the youth. I've been asked to teach the Girl Scouts. I did my niece's little Girl Scout troop and then put it on Instagram, and 4 other troops came to me. Will you teach our kids too? So I think that it's important, especially in the days of social media being so prevalent with, you see people do 8 steps of foundation and, you know, all the layering and everything that like you don't have to do that. Right.
It's like what I do.
Right. Like I have to say a man sometimes has it trickier because they're not prone to wearing makeup. Some guys do, right? For a cover up or whatever. But I think that skin health is like almost as important, if not more important, for men's skin because you can't hide it, right? A female, if you have a breakout, you throw some stuff on it, whatever. But like skin health is first and foremost. So I say wear your sunscreen and drink your water. Those are my 2 foundations.
Interesting.
And I'm a holistic spa, so, you know, we don't do fillers. I've never had, you know, anything like that. And I think that in the age right now of it just being so common, I'd like people, but especially young people, to know that, like, you don't have to do that. It's not very important. And if you care for your skin and nurture your skin and do things for your whole body, minimizing stress as well, right? Keep your mind right too, that your skin will actually be quite okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's always funny to look at old pictures of like my parents and my aunts and uncles and just how they would just bake in the sun.
God.
And like the oil and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm not even like the big like skin guy. I'm like, how are you still here? Like this is crazy. Like you didn't just torch.
But isn't that the thing, right? In skincare, we learned that the burns that you get from your childhood are the burns that are turning into cancer now.
Yeah.
So it's like it starts when you're young, and it sucks for all these people to like chase around their children. Get over here, put sunscreen on.
Oh, we do it. It's a nightmare.
Right. And I'm hoping that one day the kids are like, actually, I want to put this stuff on.
Yeah.
I remember like when I was a kid, they had the sunscreen that was purple, that when you like rubbed it all in, it would be clear. Bring that back. That was fun.
Sure.
Who doesn't want to be painted purple?
Absolutely.
So cool.
They did it with ketchup, right? Didn't they make ketchup purple?
Oh, I don't know. I know, right? They'll put dye in anything, but
yeah, I know. Yeah. But I know, I get it. It's just so funny to see. I'll get see pictures of my dad. I'm like, he's got nothing but like a Speedo on, and he is just dark. He just looks like a Thanksgiving turkey, and I'm like, wow. But that's what they did. They would go up on the roof in the Bronx and just cook.
They didn't even have sunscreen, to be honest. Like sunscreen is not that old of a thing that would be a common household item, right?
Yeah.
Like it was definitely a betadine and bake.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing. Times have changed. What's something that people are self-conscious about usually when it comes to their skin, right? So it's the thing that everybody sees, right? What are some things that people, guys, girls, are pretty self-conscious about that they come to you with?
I would say like anti-aging. A lot of people are really hyper-focused right now on lines. And to me, it's like if you get stimulation in that face, right? How many people, when you're cleansing your face, do you actually use your cleanser for a whole minute before you wash it off? Not many. How many people, when they're putting on their moisturizer, like lifting, everything goes upwards, right? You could do like a jade roller or something to help with lymphatic drainage. But I think that a lot of us just slap it on and go. So then everything is kind of settling. And then also when your skin is dehydrated, if you're not drinking enough water, it looks like a raisin, right? It like dries up. Mm-hmm. So sometimes people come into us and they're like, oh, all these lines and blah, blah. I'm like, actually, this is a lot of dead skin, and also you're dehydrated. You need to drink more water. So what we're doing is pushing product into their skin, but then also kind of plumping it up with like facial manipulation.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So after a facial, you always look good.
Right. So it's not just the thing you're putting on, but it's also the type of how you're applying it. Right?
And the length of time that you're doing it. Like I'm an esthetician and I can't get the same results as at home because I'm not doing it for an hour.
Right.
So just like kind of plumping and like playing with your skin, right? You're moving those muscles. A lot of people have like a lot of tightness in their jaws. We find a lot of sinus issues too. So we like just help those areas and those issues while we're doing a facial, which also just feels like really nice anyway.
Gotcha.
To get your face petted is always like a nice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you
ever had?
No. I've had one massage in my entire life, and it was horrifying. Like, It was on vacation. It was
that's like not even a real
no,
one.
I know. No, listen, my wife like loved it. It was the most uncomfortable because I'm just a very tense person. Like I'm,
It's hard to let
tighter
go.
than
Hard to let go.
So like that's just me in general. The girl, she was like, you should definitely like come back and get another one because you're worse than when you got here.
Yeah.
And I'm like the whole time, like just remember walking out and I'm like, why? I'm greasy. I'm like, I don't like this. And my wife was just like, wasn't that amazing? I'm like, I'm so tight right now.
I need a massage after my massage. Yeah.
Like, can they do a massage where like they don't touch me? Can I have like the same kind of experience? Like,
I mean, that would be a facial, right? So we're like massaging your face, doing a little quickie, right? But we have some people that are like, I don't need the fluff. And I'm like, well, while your mask is cooking, we're doing the fluff. Like I could not do it if you really don't want me to, but like you might as well, right? We're right here. But it's minimal fluff and actually doing nice things for your face.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you would be a candidate for a facial.
I would probably, I don't know. We'll see. So cucumbers on the eyes, legit or not?
Nah.
No?
I think it's more like a cold thing, cold, wet, hydrating thing.
Okay.
So when we use eye masks, we put rose mist water on it, which is also a very hydrating. There's calendula, there's arnica in it. So it's like a soothing depuffer, and we put it on your eyes. That has point and purpose, right?
Gotcha.
Something like a cucumber is like, I think that's what they probably did way back when, and they were like, this is as good as it gets. Or like a cold tea bag, I've also heard, can decrease inflammation and help with darkness. I don't know. I don't think that there would be multi-billion-dollar industries aimed towards skincare if like a cucumber was it.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so I'm not going to try that one.
Or avocados too. People are like, can I put avocado on my face? I'm like,
as a mask?
Yeah,
okay.
if you want to kind of smell like an avocado. Like, I guess it's okay.
So, all right, let me spin it this way then. Are there any things at home that you can use to kind of help your skin, even if it is product, right? Like what's something that somebody can do that can kind of give them a quick win? You know what I'm saying? People quick wins.
I do. If you wanted to go plant-based, easy peasy, I would say an aloe plant. That's like really, that's like my only kind of thing that it could just be hydrating. There's no bad that can come from it. But I personally think that like drinking water, exfoliating, say even with a washcloth, right? And putting on a moisturizer that doesn't maybe have like fragrance or parabens or anything bad that could stimulate your skin.
Gotcha.
A good tip is EWG is a website that tells you the toxicity of a product. So if you're ever wondering, you could just type in whatever you're using skincare wise, and that'll tell you like a rating. So I try to do a rating less than 3. Especially for sunscreen, because there's a lot of zinc oxide and like titanium dioxide. That's a really great physical sunscreen. So that will block the rays. However, if you are white as a ghost, I mean, you're rubbing it in and it is not rubbing in and you are so pale, you're not going to use it. Gotcha. So I've had like a 0 to a 1 and been like, I'm already really white and this is atrocious. Like I couldn't even put this on my kid. Gotcha. It's so white. So I always tell people, what will get you to put it on? That's the thing to do.
Yep.
In any modality of skincare, even with my CBD stuff, like what will make it get into your body? That's the thing I want you to do. I want it to be so autopilot that you're not even thinking about it.
Yep.
So that's the stuff I would do at home.
So what's the website? It's
EWG.org, I believe. So it's
So what kind of stuff can you search for on there?
Anything.
Like any kind of skin product?
So my favorite thing to do is sunscreen. So I like Sun Bum as a really cheap, effective, like even for babies, because it's like less than 3 toxicity. Gotcha. But there are other better ones out there. So if I had a question about Copper Tone or Hawaiian Tropic, if that's like a 7 or an 8, maybe I'm not going to use that one. If they're all at the grocery store anyway, about the same price, I'm going to try to get the healthiest one. Yep. For my skin.
Gotcha.
And I'm like low maintenance. I don't expect people to spend $50 on a sunscreen. Like I'm very realistic. And like I said, we're a holistic spa. So we try to just do like the cleanest version of a thing in any treatments that we do. And then for our recommendations for home as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you.
Oh, a lot of good little nuggets here.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to put cucumbers on my eyes.
Yeah. Well, I think I would rather eat them. Get True. That hydration and get health from the inside.
Love it.
If you want to eat a salad, eat it. Maybe put that avocado you're going to put on your face in that salad too. That sounds good.
That's cool. No, that's awesome. So you guys are in Peekskill.
Yes.
physical location. Do you sell product online too, or is it just?
So I just started selling our Skinchanted CBD online.
Gotcha.
Yes, but our Hylunia is what we retail, and that's our skincare that we use in the services as well as retail. That's only in-house.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So how can people get in touch with you, get a facial, get a Brazilian or a Manzilian?
So we have a book online button, which is our live schedule, which is so great at our website, skinchantedspa.com. We also have the Shop CBD button there, which is free shipping over 70. And then if they want to reach out just for a general appointment, we have a contact form on our website or info@skinchantedspa.com.
That's awesome. You're on the socials?
Yes, at Skinchanted Spa. I started an Instagram for the CBD at Skinchanted CBD, but like life is so busy. It's so hard sometimes.
It is, yeah. Managing
somebody like
multiple
you.
is hard. Yeah, it's difficult. It definitely can be a challenge. But no, this is great. Any last minute skincare advice or anything that you can give somebody listening?
My advice is wear your sunscreen, drink your water, and try to find your joy. We talk about the thorns of the day a lot. I want to talk about the roses. And a girlfriend said the other day, how about the rosebuds, like the new happy stuff that's like around on the horizon. I like that idea too.
I like that. That's really good.
So
seems like really positive.
Find
really
the joy. Yes, find the joy in every day. And like one of the reasons why I think that I'm not into the fad so much of, because I believe it's a trend, all the filler and stuff like that, is like I have so much appreciation for what our skin does. It protects us, it heals, it does wonderful, magical things. So like you don't have to get rid of every single wrinkle if it means putting like a toxin in your body, right? Like let's age gracefully. I'm kind of getting back to the roots of like, why are we doing all of this? Like our grandparents didn't, and they looked great, and we loved every wrinkle on them. Nobody like looked at a 98-year-old like, you really should have gotten Botox in your 60s.
Right,
like,
seriously. We're
okay with that. Like aging gracefully is something I would like to go down that path.
Plus, it looks really strange if you're, 75 and you look like you're trying to be 40. It doesn't. There's something. It's like artificial intelligence made it. Like it's a couple of degrees off from what it's supposed to be. Yeah. I
agree with you. And it's something that once you start, I have 20-year-olds that have come in for Botox that I'm like, so my only warning is once you start, it's very hard to stop.
Gotcha.
It's at least $1,000 a year commitment. So like know that too. And then I think that, I don't know, it's a trend. It's a look. It won't always be in style. And then your skin is going to change. If you ever stop doing it, now your muscles have been so relaxed, they've not been working out. They've not been keeping things up, right? They've not been doing their job. That's kind of where I'm at.
Nice. Very cool. Skinchantedspa.com.
Skinchanted Spa.
Thank you so much
for coming on. This was fun. This is great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll be in for
I would love that. Your first manly man facial.
I know.
I'll come in for that. I'll do that one.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's you. Because at least now I know you.
We can film it.
That might be a really
you heard it here first.
Horribly good idea. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.